And welcome to the Black Psychologist Podcast, presented by the Black Psychologist Network. And welcome to the Let's Get Some Perspective edition, where we take and react and analyze the reaction or viral videos that make their way across the news and across the social media cycle. I am one half of your humble and gracious host, Dr. Kyle Osborne. He is I, and I am him. And of course, you all know I'm not here by myself. I'm here with the man of many disciplines, many skills, many talents, my friend, my colleague, my brethren, Dr. Jason Coleman. What's going on with you, good brother?
Everything, man, good. Cowboys got a win yesterday. Not a strong win, but we got a win. Over the Chargers. So I'm happy about that. Other than that, just happy to be back. We're gonna get some perspective today. Catch up on the latest current events. And that's that. So just want to thank everybody who's been hanging around. Definitely say hello and thank you to the new subscribers, and appreciate all the support.
Absolutely. Jay, I'm happy you mentioned that winning thing, because speaking of winning, good brother.
Yeah, here we go.
Let's go to that.
Yo, Bryce Harper's a beast.
I'm not going to keep it on this way for the whole entire, broadcast. But listen, bro, you know what them Phillies is doing out here. Whenever you're ready to, leave them Yankee things alone, you can come over to the Philly side, bro. Listen, you cool in Philly, so I will make sure you got a pass. Don't even worry about that, bro. Just come on through. You know what I mean?
Listen, man, I used to like going to the Phillies game when Pete come, when they give us the tickets. But listen, man, obviously I'm a Yankees fan. We out of it, but it is what it is, man. Do your thing. Bryce Harper is doing his thing, man. The beast.
Yeah, I'm gonna save room for you, bro. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Nah, for real though. I'm not a hater though.
So listen, speaking of hating, bro, there's been a lot of there's been a lot of relationship news and issues that's been going on in the social media sphere. And actually, shout out to Dr. Ashley P, who came on to the show last week. We were talking about relationships. Got a lot of good feedback about that episode. So Dr. P will definitely be back soon. In the meanwhile, we're going to continue this conversation regarding relationships and just what's been going on. So, Jada Pinkett Smith, man. Jada Pinkett Smith, she's been making the headlines for the past few days with some spicy, information about her relationships and revelations and things of that nature. So I'm gonna play a little something so we can, give some insight on things.
Yeah, she's been out.
Yeah,
she's saying some interesting stuff, man.
That in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
But in public, the couple, who married in 1997, denied the gossip about their marriage.
No, that's just one. But wait, there's more, Jay. There's more. Hold on. We'll keep this thing spinning.
I said, but wait, there's more.
Listen, bro.
It always is about to get crazy when you say that,
Now, first of all, I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. I'm like, what is going on right
keep
now?
my wife's name
out of your mouth, right? And I'm like, but now I'm really worried for Will because I don't know what's going on.
The Girls Trip star also shares that Chris apologized to her moments later.
And Chris looks to me and he says, Jada, I meant no harm. Now, I'm just out of it because I'm really worried about
And what's Will doing? He's just sitting there?
And Will's still talking. He's like, he's still, because now he's mad because Chris is talking to me. And I go, Chris, this is about some old shit. That's all I could think to say, right? And I couldn't really take in his apology.
Revelation.
All right, Jeff. So that was one of many things that Jada decides to share in her book. So it's been that and a whole bunch of other things. You know what? For me, let me step back, right? Let's get some perspective on this. For me, I wasn't surprised that she was coming out with all of this info. For me, it was more of a situation. I found it funny that for somebody who used to say, what goes on between our marriage and me and my husband and within our family is behind closed doors, is between he and I. And now it seems like for someone that wanted to keep all that information between that, she's been, sharing a lot of information about her relationship. And it appears like it's been all on her own making, right? Whether it was the red table, whether it was in interviews every September on her social media where she's sharing her relationship with Pac and how Will doesn't measure up to Pac. And now we go in the situation with the memoir in the book.
Right.
So it just seems like it's a complete 180 from what she was saying before. And I get it, right? This is a rollout. Like, I get it. So I guess she's trying to sell the book and so on and so forth. The only thing I was shocked about was more of a situation of how the information came out. Because typically, like celebrity couples, they do like a statement, right? They typically will say, X, Y, and Z, we are no longer together. We're seeking such and such. Please respect our privacy as we go through this, blah, 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 blah. But Jada just goes rogue, bro. Like, she just goes rogue. She starts sharing information, whether it's through the book, it's through the red table, all these other different situations, right? Like, so she's just showing a history of, like, I'm going to share this information about our relationship. And then it, unfortunately, appears to come at the expense of Will, no matter kind of the way it falls. But it's just like she kind of goes off on her own thing, and then everything's out the bag. So that was kind of like my initial reaction to what I see.
Well,
shocked.
I got a question. When you saying that she was talking about when she wanted to keep like her marriage more private and all of that, when was that? When do you think that was?
So many different years prior to like the slap. Because you know how people would talk about, like, there were rumors that were always speculating about the open marriage and so on. So whenever she would have interviews and people would ask about the marriage, because they were still doing red carpets and all these other different appearances, when people would ask her, even when she was by herself, she would say, oh, well, what goes on between us is between us, like the dynamics of our relationship and so on and so forth.
Well, see, that makes more sense to me because it was probably one, when her children were younger, and two, before her business was media. You know what I mean? Like, I could see her having a different perspective when her kids are younger. And I'm not saying whether I agree with it or not. We just talking, but I could see her having a different perspective on that when her kids are younger and when she's still trying to get roles and she's in Hollywood herself and all of that. Whereas now, Red Table Talk, her role is to get people to come on the show and get people to watch the show. You know what I mean? So to me, it's a lot more easier to kind of move into that role, into self-disclosure to that point when you're profiting off it, right? Now think about it. Will Smith is not profiting off self-disclosure. He doesn't make, him just like The Rock, they got a lot of people on the YouTube channel and all of that, but and it may generate, I don't know if he has ad revenue, I don't know anything about that, but that's not anything he's dependent on. You know what I mean, right? He's still the $20 million guy, right? So too much
prior to the slap he was. I don't know about now.
Well, prior, but he had another big movie come out after that, right? I think they got the green light. I know what you're saying, but I think they got the green light for another Bad Boys, right? Since then.
He's going to need it.
Right. But the thing is, it's the opposite. It works the opposite way for him because when you're the $15, $20 million guy, too much self-disclosure hurts you. You know what I mean? So I think that's the reason why you saw the public outcry in a negative way, right? Because people were like, yo, how could she do this when she knows how it might negatively affect him? Now, you know, a lot of people are going to feel a lot of different ways about that because some people are going to interpret it like, yo, she may be his wife, but she's her own person and she's Jada Pinkett on her own. And if she decides with Jada Pinkett Smith, and if that's what she decides to do, then and him and her, he doesn't publicly have an issue with it privately or publicly, then what do we care, right? So I think, but you're gonna get that reaction from the public because we're gonna weigh in on it. They're public figures, and one again, because he's the big actor, too much self-disclosure is going to damage him. And let's be honest. All of the memes, all of the jokes, the result, regardless of her intent, was a public disgrace. Just, you know, Will Smith being publicly disgraced, right? And being the butt of everybody's jokes. And we all know nobody wants that. You know what I mean? Whether it's Manti Te'o, whether it's Will Smith, whatever it is, nobody wants to be the meme that's going on, the crying Michael Jordan emoji, whatever it is, right? Like, I'm sure everybody would have an opinion on that if it was them because, again, nobody wants to be the butt of everybody's jokes, right? So, I don't know, man.
So that's, and you bring up that point, which is why that's the really thing that I'm more baffled by is how this affects the machine. He understands, like you just mentioned, is Will Smith private? You know, you got to maintain some type of mysticism about your life because much could be vulnerability, exposure, so on and so forth. So that's why it's like, all right, for her to continue to go, and I understand she goes to the media, but it's like, you're not only disclosing your information, like if you want to just talk about your childhood, you want to talk about your upbringing, you want to talk about, that's cool. But now you're talking about us and how that perception could affect the machine in the bottom line. Like I still want to get roles, so on and so forth, which is not connected to acting, but then it is connected to acting, right? Because it's that persona. So that's been kind of my head scratcher of, okay, she continues to go rogue. How is this affecting the machine? He's the big budget person, X, Y, and Z. Like there's, again, no kind of uniform. There's like, I don't want to say breaking protocol because I'm not inside the situation, but then we're all inside the situation because she continues to let us all inside the dynamic.
Yo, you know what surprised me the most about this, if I'm gonna be honest, is that she waits until now, right? Until you can, this is like kind of the first time you can kind of say maybe he's like starting to rebuild his image, right? Since the Oscar slap, right? And then she puts out there that Chris Rock apologized to her. She basically accepted the apology, right? Or she was okay with it. Now we are looking at clips, right? But she's basically okay with it. And she's communicating with Chris like, I don't know what's wrong with him. Like basically inferring, right? Allegedly that he's can't handle his feelings. He's emotionally unstable, at least in that moment, you know, when it comes to his relationship, insecure, all of that. She's putting all of that out there when she's like, yeah, I told Chris I was just worried about him. So to me, that is leaving him out on an island. You know what I mean? So I think that was the most surprising part of it to me because I think people, like a lot of people are just surprised that, all right, put it like, we sometimes like impose our own feelings on other people, right? So I think a lot of people in general, men and women, respected the hell out of Will Smith, right? So when they look at what they perceive as Jada, like disrespected him like blatantly and like emasculating him in some people's opinion, a lot of people's, including mine, publicly, right? I think it leaves people with a bad feeling, especially since Will Smith has this good guy persona, right? It's not like he's always like uplifted his family. He's always seemed to like honor his wife. You know, I don't really know too much about his life, but you don't really see rumors of him out, you know, doing this or that, you know. So I think it's just strange, right? Right. So I think people don't know really how to take that. You know. So again, it's
No,
just weird.
couldn't be, I feel, worse for the reason that, all right, she was quiet for the majority, right? Chris was quiet. Then Chris did his comedy special earlier in the year, kind of got it off his chest.
Yeah.
Situation where Will came out, he apologized, and you started to kind of see Will. He had some roles that came out, a couple movies, and then you started seeing him a little bit more on social media doing things like
Right.
off. And now here we are again, right? here we are again, kind of like you said. Unfortunately, whatever her revelations are at his expense because it involves him, how he conducted himself in certain situations. She's talking about how Chris hit on her years ago and all these other different things. It's just like he was just kind of making a recovery.
Right. It's just, so it's strange, man. So
I don't know. It's tough. Kind of reminds me of like the way she's talking about the separation. Like, you remember how like old school, like generations ago, how you would have people that were married, but they fell out of love with each other. They're not intimate or any of these other different things, and they live in 2 separate bedrooms of the house.
Yeah, and they just got separate lives. So yeah, send my mail downstairs and leave my omelet on the stove. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
We're just cohabiting, right? We're just doing that for the sake because we've been together for so long.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It just, listen, I don't think, and just to be clear, neither one of us has a problem. If somebody wants to have an open relationship, if they want to have a non-traditional relationship, that's cool. But I just think most people are very surprised, right? When it appears that, like, at least publicly, that one person has one view of the relationship and the other person has like a totally different view. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, though.
And so we'll I guess we'll stay tuned for further developments in the book. Like, honestly, if all of this is coming out in interviews, what's left in the book, bro? I'm scared. I'm kind of scared for him. Honestly.
I mean, what, half the book is probably about Tupac. So
yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, brother.
Yeah, half the book is probably, she probably opining about how, Will doesn't measure up to Tupac. And
he does.
I mean, come on, man. Come on.
All right, Jason, look, keeping it on the topic of relationships, there have been some vids that have been circulating around social media about dating, brother. Been some dates that have been gone horribly wrong.
That's right.
Into it.
He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car.
I still laugh.
Yes. Would you want me to open the door for you? Okay. Are you're recording me? Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. What's the problem with that? This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant? You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them. Oh, sure. Yeah, I want to talk about it. Yeah. Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Oh, okay.
Oh, man. Bro. Listen, this was crazy, bro.
It seemed like she had to let him into his own car right there. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, that's crazy, too.
All right, so look, another end there, Jay. I got another one before we get into it. Hold on a second. There's another dating situation going bad.
This was a bad week, man. If you out here in the dating world, man. It's a hard week for single people.
The cold world, bro.
Yeah. It's one way to put it. You're right.
Today, let me put a disclaimer. This video does contain strong language, so it may not be suitable for children or at work. So just a heads up.
I linked with this nigga I met a few weeks ago out with my friends. This nigga been texting me for weeks talking to himself. Why I didn't block him, bitch, I don't know. But today I was bored and I had time, so he texted me like, can we meet for drinks? And I'm like, yeah, meet me here. They got the best fucking oysters in Atlanta, like, hands down. So I'm like, yes, I can get some content, come on. It's so good.
I've never seen it.
Y'all, when the fourth one came out, he was looking at me crazy. I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, baby, you invited me out. I'm gonna eat. And I was coming anyway. But I ain't gonna lie. No, I wouldn't have did all that. But I did do all that. They was so good. I was not expecting it to be that good. It was just so good. Like, I had to. It was so good. So after that, I'm like, baby, what's next? What I'm about to eat? These potatoes, they were so good. And the crab cakes, everything was so good. 10,
No way,
baby.
that's true.
Why the fuck this bitch ass nigga say he going to the bathroom and never come back?
There's no way.
The fuck? I'm like, hold the fuck on. It's been like 10, 20, 30 minutes, bitch. What the fuck this nigga at? Had to end up grabbing a tab, bitch. Nigga left me with his little one fucking drink. Yeah, bitch, I'm so glad bitch keep me some money, cause what? That was crazy to me. And I said, bitch, you run out on the tab. He talking about, I'm offering you to drink. The fuck are you talking about, bitch?
Yeah, there you go.
Yo, so that's real.
Could be.
This is getting crazier and crazier, bro.
Scary out here. It's getting spooky out here, Jack.
Right. I was hoping that the first video was fake, but I didn't hear like anybody debunk it or the girl say that it was fake. So I'm assuming it's real.
I mean, they both could be fake, but either way, I think this highlights more of an issue that kind of surrounds dating etiquette.
Right.
For a situation, because not to say that this is the norm, but situations like this have taken place, right? Like we have friends, or maybe we've been on similar situations in the past where the dates have there's been a miscommunication or some misconceptions about how this date is supposed to go, or what the idea or expectations were. So if we're looking at both situations, right, we'll take the first one with the Cheesecake Factory. So you have the young lady who obviously is unimpressed with going to the Cheesecake Factory on the first date. So in this particular case, in that situation, she is going to pretty much date shame my man, and is not going to get out the car and is going to say, you don't take me or someone like me to the chain restaurant. I mean, for me, if this is a real life situation and that's the type of reaction, it's poor etiquette on her taste, right? Now, I don't know if it's a situation where communication beforehand, like, hey, I'm going to take you out such and such, or is this a situation where even that's not your speed? Like, say if you're the young lady, all right, that's not your speed. You could either like, this is the option. You can either like, yo, take me home, or you just kind of deal with the date and be like, all right, cool. I'm not going to rock with dude or whatever the case is afterwards. But for someone to react in that particular manner, I absolutely believe is very tacky and very poor etiquette and poor taste.
Like, to me, again, right, we all deserve to have our own individual preferences, but if this was me in that particular situation, right, obviously I would have ended the date right there. I would have did what he did. I'd have brought her home, right? Why? Because simple fact that, listen, it's a major red flag, right? Because it's a major red flag as a person that appears to kind of be a front runner, right? And why? Because number one, I don't care how well you're doing, you're going to want somebody that's going to ride with you if you're down, right? Even if you're going to the best restaurants in the world, if we can't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and hit a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru or a McDonald's drive-thru, then I'm good. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's not somebody you can get low with, or if you have a bad day, that's going to cover you. Two, believe people when they tell you, right? She said, you don't bring somebody that looks like this. here, right? So that is a person that, number one, feels like her looks puts her on a pedestal, and two, feels like you owe her something as a result of her perception of how she looks, right? So for me, it would have been a red flag. I'd have been running the opposite direction. And the fact that, listen, I have, met late women that do not prefer to eat at chain restaurants, right? So I'm not saying that you can't have a preference like that. There are certain people who, they feel like whatever stage they're in their life, that the things that they prefer, that's what they want, right? But if you make that clear to a person, right, from the beginning, they're not going to take you there anyway. You know what I mean? So if that's how you are, that's fine, right? Again, like, we don't want to go back to last week's conversation, but if that's how you are, then your pool of potential choices is probably going to be smaller because you're choosing a lifestyle. You're not trying to meet a person, right? But no person in their right mind, if you say, yo, I don't eat McDonald's, you wake up in the morning and I'm going to bring you to McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So, again, it will be a red flag for me,
That's what I'm saying. The communication, I feel like prior to is important. Like, if y'all texting back and forth, or you guys are exchanging, or each other, whatever, however you're communicating, and it's already been established that, all right, chain restaurants or whatever particular restaurant is not my thing. All right, right. I will, if I still want to go ahead and take you someplace, then it's not going to be there. But again, if this is like a surprise thing and I'm taking you, or like you don't know, you just said let's go out and there was no communication before, which how a lot of places are, then what I come up with is what I come up with. And I'm gonna say this, brother. The person that asks for nothing gets everything. And the person that asks for everything gets nothing. Not about what I can do, it's about what I will do.
Right.
And if the type of attitude that you present, like you said, red flag, cool, don't worry about it. You know what? I'm gonna take you right back. Because there are women that, and there are probably men too, that live, like we talked about, with social media, right? They live on the phone. What's going on? They're recording real time. They're live and fight like real time in a person, and they will shame you. They will put you on blast or whatever the case is. And so again, that's a situation where it's like, yeah, this is not going to work. So he's right there immediately. Get you back to where I picked you up from. Well,
just in reference to like the people recording stuff live, in terms of the second video, that was my first time ever seeing it, right? Now, to me, it's a similar conversation, but it's a different one, right? Because to me, in my opinion, like, that's a lot more, well, I don't want to say more common, but we all know, and I think it's a commonly accepted fact, that there's a lot of women that accept dates, right, with people just for the experience, right? To go out and eat, or because
I'm hungry. That's fine.
Right, because I'm hungry, right? So, and I think some men understand that. They understand that's part of the deal. They accept it as like, yo, this is my shot, right? To have exclusive time. Now, we can have a conversation about whether anybody should be paying for time, right? I don't believe it. I mean, in some aspect, yes, but the same way I can offer you to go to dinner, you should be just as enthused. In my opinion, like, I may offer you to go get some ice cream or go get a coffee or go to a museum. You know what I mean? Which is not going to cost as much as a dinner. And again, if a person is not as enthusiastic for those things, then the red flag starts coming in, right? But in that case, the thing about that to me was, she posted the prices on her Instagram, right? She said from the beginning she wasn't interested in the dude. And then you see her order 4 things of oysters, which are $15 a piece. Then she ordered crab cakes, this, that. So the point was just to run him up, right? Obviously they was drinking. So my point is, she had no respect for him. Like, he was a lick, right? So for him to go to the bathroom and make the decision like, yo, now I got no respect for you, I'm a bail on you. They was right for each other that day, right? Because she didn't respect his time or him as a person. You know what I mean? Because it was excessive, right? Not like, yo, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna eat, have a drink, have some conversation. I'm not really interested, but maybe friendship, maybe not. You know what I mean? But it was obviously excessive if you look at that video. You know what I mean? So for her to not have respect for him, he turned around and didn't have respect for her. So I don't really feel sorry for either one of them. I mean, he could have handled it different, but I mean, look at the position she put him in, right? What if let's be perfectly honest. What if he didn't have the money to pay for all of that? It's not a reasonable expectation that him bringing somebody out for drinks or appetizers or whatever that you expect to spend that amount of money.
So I see both sides of it, and I'm happy you mentioned it. So for me, on one side is, I can only speak for me. I'm not going to invite anybody out to drinks if I don't have like money for drinks and in case we get something to eat.
Right.
Well, that like while you're sitting there, I don't expect us to get 4 trays of oysters and a whole bunch of other stuff. But if you're there getting something to drink, you may get something to eat while you're there too. Like
right. I would assume that too. That's reasonable.
And I feel like all guys should be like this. Like if you're gonna offer to take somebody out for drinks, you should have enough money for drinks and for food, just in case it goes that way, right? Just in case. If you ain't got it, bro, catch on your payday. You see what I mean?
Listen. as much as I'm not gonna say it pains me, but I can agree with that, right? Like, just be prepared for the date if you're gonna go into that environment. Now, I'm not saying don't, because again, if you're flat broke, you can still ask a woman on a date, right? But you just need to be in the park getting ice cream, getting coffee, going to the library, going to the museum when it's $5 after 6. But if you go into, like you said, if you go into a restaurant, you shouldn't be in there ordering water and a side salad. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Now, on the other hand, again, I'm not condoning anything that she did or that he did as far as leaving, because I feel like that's definitely bush league for you to be like, all right, I'm just leave you at the table.
No, but see, this is why I say they was right for each other, because listen, he left her at the table, right? But she lined him up from the beginning, bro. She was walking in like, yo, to my followers, I don't really want to eat dinner with him. This is Mr. Dr. Osborne. I don't really want to eat dinner with him, but he's paying tonight, and it's oyster night. So if you're doing that, then I can't have no sympathy for you if I get wind of the plan halfway through and I'm like, yo, guess what? I'm a double agent now. I'm going to reverse it on you. Like we playing Uno, I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to go to the bathroom and slip out the back.
This is how
I just won. I mean, or who won? Nobody won. I don't know.
This is why when you got more skin in the game, when you're veterans like us, you know how to hit that draw 4, right? So this is what you do. Before she even gets ready to eat or order something, is like, oh, yo, now listen, I was only wanting to get a couple of drinks. I gotta, turn in for work and stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? You gotta know how to maneuver out of that, because it's like, listen, I have no intention. Literally, we were only here for doing drinks, whether I got the money or not. I'm only doing drinks. So as soon as you get ready to order that food, it's like, oh, well, look, I'm getting ready to bounce because I just wanted to kind of grab a couple of drinks because I got to turn in early for work. That's going to stop her right there, because I guarantee
I'll be like, yeah, I gotta pick my brother up from the train station.
That's my man right there. You a vet, bro.
Oh, nah, that's my go-to, bro. Like, I gotta pick my brother up from the train station.
You're not gonna just be ordering food and I already said this is drinks. Like I just said this, right? So I know how to maneuver out of that. So maybe my man wasn't skilled enough to do that, but you're right. They were both train wrecks, both with appears to be poor value systems. So they was right for each other. You see what I mean?
Yeah, man. That night,
That's how it is out there, guys. Be careful. All right, ladies too. It's cold. All right. Jay, anything before we get out of here?
Not much, man. Again, just want to thank everybody that's been hanging with us. And we're going to keep, continuing to bring the content. So we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, Jay. Until next time, good mental health, my brother.
All right, bro. Later.